You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Quality production.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Locked On Lakers. Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot going on here. No, it's a bunch. You know, they take this stuff seriously.
Very seriously. I like it.
Locked On Lakers, Brian Kamenetzkys and Andy Kamenetzkys. Episode brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Download the app and join us on Friday at noon Pacific. Get in on the action. Spotify Green Room, changing the way we talk sports. So much we want to cover with our guest today. You just heard him. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see him as well. He's a senior editor at Yahoo, and I think just as importantly, perhaps more importantly, the co-host of Jenkins Jonez. If you are not listening to this show as a basketball fan, I really know what is wrong with you, but something is. And so we are excited to have our friend. It is so good. LaJethro Jenkins, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me on again. I know we've talked before, man. It's always fun, so I appreciate you guys, for real.
Well, I mean, one of the big reasons we wanted to have you on, LaJethro, is just as a massive Laker fan. We've talked about this in the past. These playoffs must have been just a whirlwind of emotion for you, and we haven't had the opportunity to speak directly with you about, you know, what it was like to see everything go down. The first round exit, AD hurt, LeBron hurt. You can vent. You can treat this as a safe space. You can do whatever you want with it.
I mean, but are you okay?
You saw how serious I got?
Yeah, I mean, we care about you, LaJethro.
I appreciate. I'm fine. I'm fine. It's been a fun playoffs. This is the first time I get to actually just watch the playoffs without stressing, and I've actually appreciated that to a degree. Like, I'm watching it, like, enjoying games. Could you imagine being a Bucks or a Nets fan or Hawks or Sixers fan or a Clippers fan? I mean, one of the 3 Clippers fans that exist right now. Like, I couldn't imagine going through that. I'm actually going to enjoy good basketball without, a nerve about to burst in my head. You know what I mean? But for me, I changed the way I watch basketball. Maybe after, I'd say, game 1, when I knew Bron was still hurt. I knew Bron was still hurt. I'd never seen that Bron in a series before. AD was the most important person on that team. When he went down, I knew what time it was. Bron just didn't have the button anymore. You know, that button that just, he can do whatever he needs to be done in any way on the court. He didn't have that. That ankle he was still like 70, maybe 80%. And he was picking and choosing his spots very carefully. And you can't pick and choose when you're the anchor of the team, you know what I'm saying, when AD went down. Mm-hmm. So I knew what time it was when AD went down. I didn't even lie to myself. I didn't think game 6 Bron, none of that. I never thought none of that. I knew exactly what was Father Time. It's starting to catch up a little bit. That's how I feel. And I was like, yo, just appreciate Bron. So I've been watching the game, just appreciating people. And even with KD, and because of that, I've watched everybody different. Like, even with KD, like, people were lighting up KD saying that was Bron or like when he airballed that shot at the end of the game. I'm like, KD didn't have the energy to even express disdain or hurt from missing that shot. He had played every minute. He had a great performance. He didn't have the best performance in the overtime, but it makes sense. And I watched it from appreciation. So watching the Lakers get that first round exit and seeing Bron play the way he did changed the way I look at basketball. And I think I've been watching him and watching basketball wrong the whole time. I'm watching it with expectations of somebody to do things for me when I should just be appreciating what they are. And I wish I'd have done that from jump. So I wasn't mad at Bron. I was hurt, of course. You know what I mean? It's sad seeing the Lakers go out.
We were talking
it's a dad thing. You know, I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Well, I mean, I remember we were watching game. We were talking with you during the title run when they actually won the championship, and you were getting frustrated and disappointing then. So, I mean, I feel like this represents a lot of growth for you, like a lot of personal and basketball growth.
Maybe. We'll see what happens when everybody's healthy again and it's title time. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of I felt that this wasn't the year with all the injuries and all that. So I kind of, I guess, fixed my brain to be prepared for the moment. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I'm more mad at the NBA, if anybody, for like, you know, I know the money and the marketing dollars were there and they had to. I mean, for money reasons, they started early like that. But it wasn't. I mean, come on. What do we really expect from a team that played that many games that late and then had more back-to-backs than anybody else in the league the second half after winning the championship? That's ridiculous and irresponsible of the NBA, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You're begging for something to happen. You know what I mean? When the face of your franchise, of the league, of the brand that is the NBA, is playing that many minutes back-to-back. You know, after playing that late in the year prior, you know, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? But so I'm more frustrated with that. But I mean, the Lakers, you know, it was a rough. They were the best when they went healthy, best team in the league. You know what I mean? But we're getting a chance to see guys like Booker. I mean, I'm not mad at the Suns.
Right?
They're great. They're fun to watch. Campaign coming in late and playing the way he's playing, special. Booker is what I'm tripping off right now is like, why the league hasn't given the love they needed to Booker and Trae Young. They've always had a backseat to Zion and Luka and all them. And let's
talk about this.
Yeah,
let's talk about this because like there is this kind of perception, at least among kind of like casual media, whatever it is, that the what's left in the playoffs is a disaster for the NBA. And I get it. You know, casual fans know Kevin Durant. They might flip on Kevin Durant, all this stuff. But like an opportunity to showcase Trae Young. Trae Young is incredibly watchable.
He's pure entertainment. If all you want is entertainment, like he's a video game.
I mean, dude, you know, and he leans into the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
He loves it. He's been getting it ever since high school. He got it at Oklahoma. You know what I mean? He's getting it now, and he loves it.
Whole East Coast hates that guy.
You said what?
The entire East Coast hates that guy now.
Yes, and he loves that they hate them. You know what I mean? And when they were yelling out F, you know what I'm saying, Trae Young, that put the battery in his back. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's one of those guys. He got that dog in him. You know what I mean? And Booker's the same. Booker's the same to me. Booker 47 in a closeout game against Bron. What do you say against the Lakers? Are you kidding me? Then he goes crazy the next series. You know what I'm saying too? Like Booker is one of them. And we try to make these basketball players cool. Booker's actually cool.
Yeah.
He's pulling up in these old schools. You know what I'm saying? He's ready to fight at any time.
He's with a Kardashian. Like
I mean, come on.
Got
you know
that going for him.
I mean, I don't know if that's going for him.
You should be able to market that.
It's marketable.
He's with a Jenner. I guess it's technically a Jenner, but still, he is with like the first family of reality TV. If you can't market that, the problem's you. It's not the league.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. And I'd say the same thing about Giannis. Like, I mean, you talk about Giannis as like, you know, he's a great MVP. Nickname, great story, all this other stuff. It's like, okay, now he has, I think, a legit chance to get to the finals. Like, okay, there's a little bit of pain in there. I understand. There's a little bit of pain in there for the NBA because in part we've done so much about which stars go in here, super teams, this, that, taking some of the emphasis off the game. But like this is the chance to make a little bit of it. You cannot sit as a league and rely on KD and Steph and Bron and whatever for the rest of your lives.
No, I think it's great. I don't the ratings. Go ahead. You said what?
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I can't remember a time, and maybe I'm sure I sound like, you know, old guy, whatever, but like where there were this many awesome, exciting, and really interesting players under 25. You know, and Luka.
We don't know who's going to win.
No.
Anybody can win. Anybody can win. People are talking about ratings. Since when do I care about ratings? Are we paid? Is that our job? I care about basketball. And this is great basketball I'm watching. Some of the funnest basketball I've watched. You know what I mean? And we're seeing a lot, like you said, young players playing great basketball that we didn't know had it in them. I didn't know Trae. I knew Trae was great. I didn't know Trae I didn't know there was a playoff Trae. I didn't know there was a playoff Booker where they went to the next level. Yeah. I'm loving it.
I mean, look, even a guy like Paul George, who, you know, he's been around for a while, but the image of Paul George has been so negative the last few years.
Pandemic P.
Right. Pandemic P, way off P, whatever. Like, say what you want about the guy. The last few games, he has stepped up massive. Like, that's a story. Like, that is a story.
Playoff P exists. He is playoff P. You know what I mean? Like what we saw the last 3 games, like of the last series. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Without Kawhi, the last 2 games, and that Jazz team was legit. And then Ty Lue, what he did by making the Defensive Player of the Year food, he turned Rudy Gobert into food. You know what I'm saying? The best decision would have been to take him off the court. Come on. What else? I mean, like, what else? There's so many stories. You know,
truly,
Tyronn Lue was supposed to be in the Lakers. He was supposed to be the Lakers coach.
So was Monty Williams. Andy and I
talked
talked about that on yesterday's show. How rooting for the Suns is basically like rooting for the Lakers. You have almost coach Monty Williams, former Laker Chris Paul. I mean, like it's basically this. They wear purple. We wear purple. It's the same
Pacific
team.
Time zone. It is basically the same team.
It's the same thing.
How fun would a Suns championship be? Yeah. I don't care what the NBA has to figure out with ratings, and I don't even know if the ratings are real. You know, who's seen a Nielsen box, and everybody's watching it on Reddit and all these other options as well too. You know what I mean? We're all talking about the game. You can't ignore, you know, when games are on. Everybody's talking about it on social. You know what I mean? So, dog, I don't know if the ratings are, you know, I think the way we look at ratings are weird. But hey, it's been fun basketball. Everybody I know that actually likes basketball. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. All right. Let's I had a question, a critically important question that I think you are uniquely qualified to answer. It was raised this week in big media, and I just think we haven't tackled it yet on the show, and we need to, and we'll do that next.
This episode brought to you by Spotify Green Room, the first social audio platform made for sports fans. The app is free to download. Once you're in, you can talk with me, Brian, other fans, athletes, insiders in real time about your favorite team or sport, in this case, the Lakers. We will be hosting rooms for Locked on Lakers once a week, Friday, noon Pacific time, joining the conversation that you listen to here every day. Spotify Green Room, the perfect place to start or join conversations about the league. Go download the free Spotify Green Room app now, currently available on all iOS devices. Be sure to create a profile, link to your Twitter, join the group for the latest league updates. Follow us at Cam Brothers to be notified on Twitter when the rooms will go live. It's always under A Kamenetzkys. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to be, again, live this Friday, noon Pacific time. We want to hear everyone's thoughts on the Lakers, on the NBA, anything else. We'll see you there. Spotify Green Room, changing the way we talk sports.
Okay, so LaJethro, there was a lot of mocking, a lot of disdain, all this stuff from a critically important question that was raised by Skip Bayless earlier this week.
The poet Skip Bayless,
right? And for all of the mocking,
we're going to do it.
I have not seen a good answer to this question. Why are LeBron and AD following Russell Westbrook's wife on Instagram? I haven't seen a good answer yet. Why are they?
I would say this. She's a real one. She's a real one. You know what I mean? I would be following too. You know what I mean? Like, dude, she's solid. You see the way she takes up for Westbrook? There's just respect there. There's respect there. But I wouldn't mind.
It's
if there's a little bit
impossible. It's basically impossible, Russ. Like
I wouldn't be. Maybe
Russ is impossible.
Maybe
I don't think it is capologically possible to get Russ to the Lakers.
That money. We only need them three. Them three versus everybody.
I'll take it. Russell Westbrook solves like almost, and to some degree solves like none of their big problems. Can't shoot from the outside, is a gigantic health question, makes $1 zillion in terms of flexibility, all that stuff. I would give a reasonable amount of my money away to watch Russell Westbrook play with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Like, I don't know what that would look like. It's probably not a good idea, but god damn, that would be entertaining.
Are we still relying on Schroeder? We would prefer that? Kuzma? You know what I mean? Like, are we going to rely on these people? At least make it be fun. You know what I mean? The way they play in the playoffs, like it's like nobody wanted to play. So hey, them three versus everybody, and let's see what happens. It might not be good, like you said, Brian, but at least it'll be fun, and I'll take fun.
I love Russ. I mean, he's not a perfect player. I get it, whatever, but he's a Hall of Famer, and god damn, that guy plays hard. And just, I mean, like, he is everything you would want a player to be. Great teammate, great leader, all that stuff.
we were talking about Giannis on the pod recently, and somebody said that Giannis plays like a street shark, which was hilarious. And I almost ran off the pod when I first heard it. But I think Westbrook does the same. Westbrook has that street shark game. You know what I mean? And we could talk all we want about him not being a perfect player. Who is? You know, what he's done in basketball has never been done before. He broke a record that all the greats thought that was the one record that would never even be touched. Okay. And we still find ways to minimize him because we don't like the way he plays basketball. It's weird. He's great. I enjoy watching him. I'm a big Westbrook fan.
It is weird because I understand that analytics have changed the way that a lot of people think about basketball. I think in a lot of ways it has actually been helpful. Analytics is basically information. Information is always helpful. I think we are terrible as a basketball community, basketball media, talking about analytics in a way that doesn't either turn into a stupid feud or boring. But this stuff is actually valuable. That being said, I do think the analytics movement is weird in the sense that it would somehow lead to people downplaying the importance, significance, and amazing qualities of that many triple doubles. Like, that is insane.
I mean, I get it. A triple double is an arbitrary number. But like, if you're producing 26 points and like 13 rebounds and 10 assists, you're doing something.
You will not meet a single professional basketball player who will say triple double.
Who will say it's an arbitrary number? You know what I mean? Like, to them, like, dude, all the greats think it was an incredible record and that it would not be broken. And he broke that. It's just like, I think like when we talk about analytics, and like I said, I think they're important. I think there's people that use them like in a great way when it comes to talking about players. But it should assist the game. It should assist the game. It shouldn't go against the eye test either, I don't think. I think that's just as important. When we're seeing greatness and beauty, you know, that's just as important as basketball. Basketball is art to me.
Yeah.
When I see somebody break a press without using a dribble, delicious. It's not, you know, you can't analytically break that down. It's the beauty of it. You know what I mean?
Stop real quick. That is the most fantastic use of delicious that I've heard in a long time.
Well, I mean, when you see stuff like that, it's like, oh, it's beautiful, right?
Yeah,
and so we can't ignore the beauty of the game.
We are ultimately,
numbers, you know?
It is a game. It is an art. It is, I mean, all these things. And look, what I love about the way that the game has changed and the D'Antoni thing and the shooting and all that is it's opened up the floor. I hate watching. I mean, I go back now. I wasn't a big fan then. And especially I go back now and I watch footage from like the 90s and stuff like that. Like great. It's old school. It's like they're beating the crap out of each other. Nobody's scoring. It's amazing they can do anything given how many people there are inside the 3-point line. But like you don't get to see how capable and incredible these guys are athletically because they're all in like a big clump. It looks like a bunch of third graders playing soccer. They all just follow the ball around.
Right. I think like we're seeing the most talented, incredible athletes, and the most skilled we've ever seen them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the game to me is the most beautiful it's ever been. Like you said, when I go back and like Jordan himself is art. You know what I mean? But outside of that, like when I'm looking at the triangle and things like that, it's not fun outside of Jordan. You know what I mean? Like Kobe, there's fun watching Kobe play. But I mean, like that it's not, you don't really see a lot of the beauty of the game there. You see a lot of it now. It's on, you know what I'm saying? It's
and whether it's Trae or Steph or, some of these guys' book is a little bit like that too. Like there is something really cool about watching a player that as soon as they pass half court, you have to keep an eye on it because it's like, okay, they could do something, right? Lillard could pull up right here, boom, and hit and 3-pointers are cool. Like they are exciting. They are fun. Like boom, snap. That hits the net and just like that is. I like it. Maybe it's because I'm 5'9". Like
no, we're not seeing 3-pointers. We're seeing 4 and 5-pointers now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Bill Bellamy, Rock and Jock style.
Right, we're seeing those. That. And talking about Trae just isn't like the second coming of Steph. Trae plays like Steve Nash. Mm-hmm. He probes the lane like Steve. He just has Steph range. You know what I mean? And the league don't want to put some eyes on that. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's beautiful. How good is Trae's basketball IQ? How many times does he make the perfect decision in traffic at 6 foot? You know what I mean?
Well, this is one of the things that's really exciting is when you see like Trae Young or you see Devin Booker and their evolution as players on these big stages in the playoffs. When you start realizing they're better than I thought they were, like DeAndre Ayton. This has been. I mean, there's been a lot of hype, rightly, with Trae and Devin Booker and that, but like this has been a massive coming out party for DeAndre Ayton, who for so long, I mean, really was just getting punished for not being Luka. And like, is he ever going to be as good as Luka?
Same with Trae.
No.
Same with Trae.
Exactly. Like those guys likely are not going to end up as good as Luka, but that doesn't mean they're bad. And I think like this year's playoffs has reminded people DeAndre Ayton isn't bad. He's never been bad. Like
never.
Just because he's not as good as somebody taken behind him who may end up the player of his like generation or even the generation behind him, that doesn't mean you weren't good.
It's like if you'd have drafted Olajuwon instead of Jordan, like would you look back and they go, well, that was stupid. Like what a terrible idea that was.
And the same thing I say with Trae, like Luka, we know Luka's going to be an all-timer, right? It just is. You know, we all see it. Trae is probably going to be an all-timer too. And I don't think anybody lost that trade. Yes, Luka is better right now, but Trae is a great fit for that Atlanta team. He's great for that Atlanta team. We're seeing them win. They had no business beating those Sixers. No business. You know, they had, like Simmons and what Thibault should have kept him off. Should have ate Trae up. You know what I mean?
This is actually what you're raising right now. This is a really interesting point about these playoffs that doesn't happen often. Usually, when you're talking about players like Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, a team set up behind Trae Young, you usually have to take steps before you get to the conference finals. Like you have to take the proverbial lumps. You're looking at 2 of the 4 teams left that have not had to do like Phoenix. Yeah. I didn't think, at full strength, I still think the Lakers could have beaten them. But the biggest thing that made me doubt Phoenix wasn't that I didn't think they were legit, because all season I'm like, they've been really good. Like this is not a mirage. I was just like, other than Chris Paul and Jay Crowder, they don't have any collective experience with guys who matter.
Not a taste of the playoffs.
Right. And usually that stuff matters.
I have a theory about that, though. I have a theory about that, though, that I'll run it past both of you guys. And we'll do that next.
Locked On Lakers brought to you by Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar ever. These are bars covered in 100% chocolate. They are soft. They are easy to chew. Unlike some of the scrub protein bars out there, I'm not going to say who you are, but you know that you're deadbeats. You know that you taste awful. Built Bars, though, they are healthy. They're great for health-conscious people, whether you're trying to lose or maintain weight, but still want to eat something that tastes great, low calorie, low sugar, high protein, high fiber. They're great for keto diets. You can get some of the 12 original flavors like raspberry, coconut almonds, salted caramel, banana bread. They got new flavors like cherry barcia, lemon almond cheesecake, cookies and cream. They're perfect for someone like me who loves just cool, interesting, unique taste combinations. You're never going to get bored eating the same thing over and over and over. So go to Built Bar, use the promo code LOCKED15. You get 15% off your first order. Again, the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at BuiltBar.com.
Locked On Lakers also brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online, the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action. Baseball season, it's in full swing. You got the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're talking obviously a ton of NBA. You get all the latest news, odds, and info for all of that at Bet Online. So before the next pitch, before the next puck drop, before the next jump ball, get on your laptop or your mobile device, check out all the great sporting news, sign-up bonuses, and contest information. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore. This is your chance to get into the game as teams make their way through the playoffs. So again, head to the website, use your mobile device, receive 50% off as a welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, 50% off as a welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. All right. So Andy, you were talking about the whole deal with like not having to sort of make that progression. Two teams could make the finals and just jump the line. I think there's a trend here. Like if you look at what 20-something-year-old kids do now when they come in the league, 19, 18-year-old guys, they show up with a skill set that is more advanced. You see people coming out of college getting into whatever industry. And I don't know if it's that 10,000 hours thing. I don't know if it's the ease of access, better training, guys doing AAU stuff, whatever it might be. I just think there are, like, Devin Booker is a more fully formed player. Nikola Jokic, Trae Young, all these guys, they come in. Trae's got all the old man YMCA moves already and all the other stuff.
Great use of the
and good knees, and still has good knees.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's not fair.
He's got all this, the 48-year-old stuff with a 20-something-year-old body. And I just, Luka's like that. I
He's got
wonder
Andre
if
Miller's butt game in like a 22, 23-year-old player.
Right.
Without even having to get the big butt. It's like some people, you suffer for that butt, and it's not great, but at least you put it to good use. If you're Andre Miller,
Andre Miller could have made the Hall of Fame on the strength of his ass alone.
Right. Crazy.
That was different.
There should be a Hall of Fame.
That was special.
Right.
Everybody think it's just like swimsuits and stuff. No. It's also Andre Miller's butt. What's that guy who used to play nose tackle for the Lions?
Jerry Ball.
Jerry Ball. That great butt, huge. Can't move that butt. You guys, does that make sense to you? Because that has been my theory for a little while now about why these guys come into the league and they are so sort of fully formed when they get here. Not that they can't get better, but there's so much polish to the games of a lot of these players that I just don't remember it being like that 15, 20 years ago.
They approach it like a job early.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, the amount of games they play with AAU and the regular season is insane. Maybe not the best as far as health, when it comes to, long term. But they understand the game at a different level. They're training with league trainers in 10th grade. I saw Tatum play in high school, not knowing that he had been training with Bradley Beal and Drew Hanlon all summer. And I'm like, these are NBA moves. This is an NBA player eating off these high school players, and it's not fair. You know what I mean? And they're famous before they even get in there. We knew who Trae Young was. We knew who Zion was. We knew who all these guys were before they even not Luka. Luka just different. But, these guys have a million
followers. Luka's been a pro, though. Luka's been a pro. He's been a teenager. Same with Jokic. For sure. All the overseas guys, they're basically doing an adult job. They
had to circumvent child labor laws to let Luka play, right? He was a kid 15, in a mine, wasn't he, or something. I think he was 8. 7, 8 years old. They took him out of a coal mine and stuck him into a professional basketball team.
We get into politics now, but
very different conversation.
Right. But I feel like I think a lot of these guys are already popping and known and are used to that a certain level of fame and notoriety. So that doesn't scare them when they're in the league. They've been prepped for this. But these guys are jumping. They haven't had a taste of the playoffs. And are looking like you said, seasoned vets under big pressure. It's just for Trae, it looks like every day. For Booker, it's just Booker's this thing. I think Booker has one of those minds, though, at least offensively, where everything is slow to him. Mm-hmm. I think he is just it makes it look too easy. When people are young, especially when they're nervous and young, they tend to move 100 miles an hour. Yeah. Booker doesn't have that. Booker is so patient. And he gets exactly what he wants. He's special. I
look at it and I think, not because it's a Lakers podcast, you have the obligatory Kobe comparison, but Booker obviously patterns a lot of his game after Kobe. He's inspired by Kobe. He's talked about it throughout the postseason.
Legendary.
Yeah, exactly. These guys can Kobe was unusual for his age in the sense that he used to consume a ton of tape. He'd have all that stuff sent to him and watch VHS tapes and copy guys and pattern guys. If you want to copy Kobe, the access that you have to Kobe's stuff and, Dr. whoever it is, Jordan, whoever it is that you want to pattern your game after, these guys can just pull it up on their phones when they're 10 years old, 12 years old, 14 years old, and just start looking at that stuff and consume so much basketball and in ways that I know I couldn't when I was a kid. Not that it would have helped me, but It's just like that stuff. That's what I
all
mean.
that kept Brian from growing to the pros. It was just
that's it. Is it just
he learned to grow up in the cell phone era earlier?
I know it's and think of what the basketball world has missed out on because of it.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to be Kobe, you can learn Kobe backwards and forwards with more depth and more stuff as just a kid at home. That you would have needed professional resources when we were younger. It's all that plays into it.
We're seeing kids like I learned triple threat in like 7th grade. You know what I mean? We're seeing kids hit folks with reverse pivots in elementary school. Like reverse pivot, jab, and bye. What? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like reverse pivot, jab, pull up. What? That's you mellow in 4th grade? Are you know what I mean? Like it's they different. They approach it differently. They have, like you said, access to so many different things, but it's beautiful what it becomes. You know, like I don't know if y'all hit the Peyton Watson out here, you know what I'm saying? But he plays at Poly, but like he looked like a little KD. KD Washington was like, woo, he's different. Like it's what we're seeing now are the best athletes also be the most skilled players in sports.
Yeah, Magic Johnson was an alien when he came into the league at 6'9" and could handle the ball and all that stuff as a point guard. It's like, oh my God, now you have like center. I'm not comparing all these guys to Magic, but like the idea of a 6'10" guy who can handle the ball and run the point and be a skilled player. It's like, they're like 10 of those guys, like 15 of those guys around the league now. That skinny kid in Oklahoma City weighs like 136 pounds, but he's like 7'4", and he's really skilled. Like that's how they grow him now.
But yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah. But like, I mean, everybody loves Poku. But was Cat the first guy we really saw kind of doing that? I remember, like for me, like I remember seeing Cat get the ball at the top of the key. He jab stepped, took a dribble, stepped back to the elbow, and I was like. And pulled up, and I was like, "Wait."
The first guy I can remember at basically that size doing something like that was KG. Like KG,
come on.
KG was the first guy I can think of.
But the
type of size and build.
Yeah, you know, when you go through and all that European guys like Jokic or whatever, we talk about, Towns. People don't I think give enough credit because Minnesota's so bad.
They're so bad.
Karl Anthony Towns is a legit 40% 3-point shooter. It's not like he's not like Joel Embiid out there. Like he can hit a 3-pointer. Anthony Davis, like he can hit a 3-pointer. You got to respect it out there. It's not a bad part of the game. Like Karl Anthony Towns is an excellent shooter in addition to being all that other stuff. Now, I think there is something to be said for maybe guys aren't watching as much film on defense. It's a little harder, but I also think these guys today are incredibly hard to defend.
I mean, especially with the rules.
Yes,
the rules. And I mean, let's there's some great defenders and all that, but like we just saw Luka go up against the Clippers, 2 of the best guard defenders in the world, and turn them into a light snack.
Can't do it.
What do you know what I'm saying? Like, so what are the regular people on defense supposed to do when a god on defense can't, it can't even sniff trying to stop the man? PG is a hell of a defender. I don't care what you say he does on the offensive side. He's a hell of a defender. Kawhi is Kawhi. Yeah. And this man is putting up insane numbers against 2 of the best what we've seen in this generation guard defenders. Like, it's crazy to see. So, I mean, I just think, the bags are so deep. They bags. They got Birkin bags. They got $80,000 leather bag. All crocodile. Swag bags. Full of moves. What you supposed to do? You know what I mean? They like Shane Sung out here. You know what I mean? They taking everybody's moves and using them. You can't prepare yourself defensively. It's hard.
There are times when I actually think I would be better equipped to defend some of these guys because they're doing so much stuff and I wouldn't be able to respond to any of it. So I would just be standing in the same place the entire time. So I wouldn't get I lean left just a fraction of an inch and that's enough. Boom, they're gone. I can't react to any of it. So I know you got some places you got to be. Like, I just want to say thank you, because this was a half hour of just let's enjoy and love basketball.
I love it, man.
And we don't get, there is not nearly enough of that. Like, basketball is awesome. These players are awesome. I know of the team that we're all talking about isn't there anymore. They'll be back next year. We've got plenty of time to talk about that. Let's talk about what's happening right now, because what's happening right now is awesome. So thank you so much for doing that.
It's apropos, LaJethro, by the way, because today on the road to the finals, our NBA coverage is brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Good job.
It's only worth it if you enjoy it. And at 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, we can all enjoy the games a little more this season, like we've been trying to tell Lakers fans.
Beater.
Yes, dude.
I respect the segue game. That was special.
No, he's been very strong.
Oh wow!
I'm not gonna lie, LaJethro. Like I think generally speaking, I beat myself up over a lot of stuff. I am a big critic of myself. I will listen back to stuff and kill myself over little things. I give damn good seg.
Yeah,
I am an amazing seg artist.
He's the most useless of the Avengers, but this is no question what his role would be.
That one good thing, though.
Yeah, but you know what? All the Avengers, man, they want to get paid. They don't get paid without.
It's like he's like Aquaman. Like, you know, the Justice League turns to him, and he's not much good when there's not anything happening.
You want to keep the damn lights on at the Justice League?
Right.
Like, someone's got to pay the bill.
You don't need to talk to a dolphin.
But when there's water, you're there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Does anybody here know how to talk to a dolphin?
Right.
That guy. All right. Well, good.
And 100 from 100 from the line in clutch in those moments. You feel me?
LaJethro's the host of Jenkins and Jonez. You can catch his stuff at Yahoo as well. LaJethro Jenkins, thank you so much for taking the time, man. This was great.
Always fun, guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Talk to everybody tomorrow.
Peace.